My name is Maren McHugh, and I'm the founder of Dopamine, a mind-body life coaching business. I started this business because of my own mental health struggles that plagued me for 15 years. And what I did to overcome these mental health struggles was do immense amounts of research to figure out how my mind and body works and what I can be doing on a daily basis to elevate my happy chemicals, bring my body back into equilibrium, lower the stress, retrain my thought patterns, learn how to connect and be present, how to calm down, how to slow down, how to meditate. So all of these things collectively are what helped me overcome some deeply ingrained programmed habits of thought and action that were slowly killing me. I wrote about my journey and my mental health struggles and overcoming in my book called Be the Change. So if you are interested to move through a process, follow along in a storyline, and do your own inquiry and practice, I highly recommend you get a copy of that book. It is for sale on Amazon. The vagus nerve, however, was not on my radar until about a year ago. So I am still deeply entrenched in the research and the understanding and my ability to articulate the power of the vagus nerve. So this video is not only practice for me, but I am hoping that I can explain some really fascinating things about how our mind and body works to give you a little bit more insight and access into your mind-body connection and what to pay attention to and why certain things are said, what they mean, but giving you a really deep, visceral, and physiological understanding so that you can take action and feel empowered in your journey of health and wellness and potentially mental health struggles. So the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. We have 12. And it is also the longest nerve in the body. There are two main branches of the vagus nerve. One is a little bit more in front of the other, and the front branch is called the ventral vagus nerve, and the branch behind is called the dorsal vagus nerve. Now, not only do we have these two main branches that innervate the major organs, but it also has many peripheral branches. So you can see here, perhaps, that these little branches go off in many different directions so that while it does innervate the major organs, it also branches out to touch as far as it possibly can, including up. Okay, so the vagus nerve is the connection of the brainstem to the body. Now from the brainstem, there are peripheral branches that reach up to the ears and the backs of the eyes and the occipital lobe. And what this is doing is impacting the health and function of our sight and our hearing. So the vagus nerve is heavily involved in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. So what we start to understand when we look at the vagus nerve is that when we are dealing with chronic stress, it can impact these various areas of our body because of the vagus nerve. So this will make more sense as I move through it. So other than the peripheral branches that move up, influencing eyes and ears, the two main branches move down through the throat, impacting our ability to swallow, to speak, to express ourselves, to chew food. So there's actually momentary mutism that can happen when someone has a really extreme stress response, the inability to speak, simply because of the vagus nerve getting so activated that we lose our ability to move the muscles in our mouth and in our throat. It then moves down into the heart and the lungs, and then through the diaphragm, and through the stomach, and through the small intestines, and lands in the colon. The front branch, one is more in front of the other, is called the ventral vagus nerve, and the one in behind is called the dorsal vagus nerve. The ventral vagus nerve is the brakes on the stress response. So in our day-to-day life, when we are activated for various reasons, a very healthy and strong vagus nerve, which is called a strong vagal tone, has the ability to notice the stress response and then pump the brakes on it, bring us back into a state of the ability to be present and socially engaged and calm. So there's nothing wrong with stress, but if we stay in that stress response, that's when toxicity and the vagus nerve is no longer able to pick up on signals and actually bring us back into a state of calm. So not only can it impact our ability to speak, but obviously our heart rate, our ability to breathe fully, our ability to digest, our ability to absorb nutrients, and our ability to expel waste when we are done with the food, the nourishment that moves through our body. So a healthy vagus nerve is what really allows the process of not only food in and food out, but our ability to breathe, our ability to keep our heart healthy and strong, our ability to speak, our ability to see, our ability to hear. It's all connected to the vagus nerve. So while the ventral vagus nerve is the one that is pumping the brakes, I'm safe, it's okay, calm down, okay? So we want a very strong ventral vagus nerve. The dorsal branch is actually toggling between safety and arousal 5 times per second. And this is healthy. This is a functioning vagus nerve. So what that's doing is we are actually 5 times per second, we are assessing, do I lean in or do I pull away? Am I safe or should I proceed with caution? Okay, so this is really, really healthy. It's our job to survive. So it's our vagus nerve that kind of keeps us aware, picking up on signals and checking out our environment. Now, if we stay in a stress response, so the ventral vagus nerve is not really functioning anymore for whatever reason. There's so many different reasons why we can get into a habit of prolonged stress. But when we get there, what can happen is the dorsal branch actually then plays dead, or it makes our body play dead. So it's called the dorsal dive, where we are so stressed out that our body gets the signal, I'm clearly being chased by a lion because the amount of stress in my body right now is not normal, it's not healthy. So the best mode for survival at that point is play dead. It's what we see in wildlife when a deer gets caught in a bear's jaw and it goes limp. So it's not actually dead yet. This is the last mode of trying to survive, because it's possible that that giant animal will lose interest because it doesn't want to eat a dead animal. And so that actually could be what allows that animal to fall from the jaws, shake it off, and keep moving. Now that's really where we come from. We're part of the animal kingdom. So when we move into that dorsal dive, we might feel depressed, lethargic. You might think you have mono all of a sudden. You're not able to really function. You know it would be great to get outdoors or be around people, but it also seems like the furthest possible thing that you could do. So what do we do with this information? Stephen Porges talks about the Polyvagal Theory, and this is a wonderful way to understand the vagus nerve. Now the Polyvagal Theory can be understood as a stoplight. So we've got green, yellow, and red. Green is good to go. That's when we have a strong vagal tone, the ventral branch, the dorsal branch, they're functioning healthily and properly. We're pumping the brakes as soon as we are assessing we're actually safe. There's a good equilibrium and balance. So green is social engagement, where you have a sense of calm and you're able to be present and connect with the people around you and be grateful and a sense of awe, and you're able to learn and grow and heal. And that's a really key part of the green zone, is not only is it your peak state, your optimal state, but it's also where the innate healer resides, which we all have. When we move into rest and digest, our body starts to repair. The innate healer starts to do its work. So you don't need to learn how to heal. You need to unlearn what's getting in the way of your ability to heal. It's all about relaxation, trusting your body, social engagement. So that's the green zone. That's where we want to be spending more and more of our time. Now, yellow is when the stress response is activated. Okay, so the ventral vagus nerve receives the signal stress. Okay, so yellow is proceed with caution. We might feel a little rattle of stress in our chest, and Maybe you start pulling away or questioning, do I really want to be here right now? Or, just noticing that you feel a little bit of unease. You're unsettled in your body. Again, not a big deal. This is such a normal part of being alive. Okay, so as soon as you notice that, you're starting to move into hyperarousal. What we need to do is down-regulate. So allowing your exhale to be longer than your inhale. You do that 3 times, like 4 seconds inhale, 8 seconds exhale. 3 to 6 times, and that is going to give the signal to your body, to your vagus nerve, I'm safe. So especially while you're retraining your body to recognize you're way safer than your body is actually habituated into thinking, use your breath. Your body knows you're not in danger if you are taking an 8-second exhale. You wouldn't do that if you were in danger. So what you're doing is with diaphragmatic breathing, take a deep inhale and your belly inflates. Exhale and you're pulling your belly button back and getting all the air out of your system. Now what's really interesting is when you think about the vagus nerve innervating your entire major organ system, that deep inhale and exhale, where the diaphragm is moving, the belly is moving, the pelvic floor is moving, that vagus nerve gets the signal, I'm safe, and then sends that safety signal to the rest of your body. So you might notice that stress lands in your jaw, or you get migraines, or a bellyache, or could feel like you're being strangled, or like there's a weight on your chest, or it could even be affecting your ability to go to the bathroom. So these are all different manifestations of stress in our body. And I promise you, those diaphragmatic breaths are what starts to change the signals. When your body has more safety signals than danger signals, then everything starts to change. Your system starts to work harmoniously. When your body thinks you're in danger, there are certain things that are no longer a priority, including digestion, absorbing nutrients, even deep breathing, thinking critically. It's going to be a very reactive state, and you can only do what you've thought or done before. So we need to coax our body into a calm state and really visualize the vagus nerve sending those signals throughout the body. So after the yellow zone, if we have not been able to down-regulate back into green by lengthening our exhale, what happens next is red. And red is full stop. Red is the dorsal dive. It's hypoarousal. It's when your body says, okay, I'm just gonna play dead and stop trying. Okay, so when we feel this in our body, and it could be you've been feeling this for years. This was the big one for me. I struggled with hypoarousal without recognizing what it was for over 10 years of my life. And as soon as I had language for it, everything changed. I suddenly felt like I had some action steps, and I realized, okay, I'm not broken, nothing's wrong with me. This is actually a beautiful way that the system works, and I just need to retrain it so that it's working with me instead of against me. So when we find ourselves in hypoarousal and that full stop, we need to upregulate. And the simplest thing you can do is utilize your breath. So now your inhale is 8 seconds, and then just a regular old exhale that will take about 4, 5, or 6 seconds. And then again, really draw on that inhale, feel your belly inflate, take your time, even pause with full lungs, and then regular old exhale. 3 to 6 of those, and your state shifts. It really is that simple. And why it's not easy is because it's not easy until it's a habit. And if you take time every single morning to check in, am I in green, am I in yellow, am I in red, am I somewhere on the spectrum in between, and then use your breath to either upregulate or downregulate. You do this every single morning, what you're going to find is that throughout the day, you're going to start noticing, okay, here comes the yellow. Maybe I just stepped into a new environment, and then you notice, like, whoa, I just got activated. But now you have a tool to access, because what you practice when you don't need it is then what you have access to when you need it. So it's so important to put this into practice every single day. Now, the last thing that I'll leave with you is a lot of this information I got from different yoga teacher trainings, but also from, seeing if I have the book out here, a book called The Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve by Stanley Rosenberg. Beautiful book. He describes the vagus nerve really intelligently, years and years of experience as a practitioner with the vagus nerve. You could also look him up in podcasts. He's been interviewed on a lot of different podcasts as well. And he talks about one thing called the basic exercise, which is what I will leave you with today. Laying on your back, interlock your fingers, and bring them to the base of your skull so you can feel a little bit of pressure on your occiput. So your elbows are wide. Just pretend I'm on the floor right now. Now, actually what you're gonna do first is hands down and rock your head side to side and notice your mobility. If there's any strain, if there's any tension, just notice what it feels like in your neck. And then interlock, base of your skull, elbows wide, resting into your hands. Keeping your head in one position, you're just moving your eyes and focusing on your breath. So you choose one direction to start, and you sustain your focus in the far corner of your eyes, and breathe. Now, you might notice right away, this could feel really straining on your eyes. And it could just be the day, or it could be your eyes, the muscles in your eyes are not strong enough to sustain your focus on the side. So you can just soften your gaze a little bit, maybe don't push so hard to the side, but also acknowledge that if you do this every single day, the muscles in your eyes will get stronger. So diaphragmatic breathing. You might even notice that you have, you move into yellow and maybe even close to red when you do this. Our eyes hold on to a lot of information about stress. So this is a great way of retraining your body into knowing that it's safe. So I often will take 6 breaths. And if I am having a stress response, some days I do, some days I don't, then I'll stay here a little longer and really wait until I feel a release. Now that release could come in the form of a swallow, where you just naturally just suddenly swallow, which you wouldn't do if you were in a stress response. Or it could be a breath that moves and just goes deeper and lasts longer than the breaths previous to that. I consider that a release as well. And then turn your eyes and go to the other side. And just notice. Does this side feel different? Do you move into yellow or red on this side, or do you stay calm? So again, around 6 breaths, waiting for that release to happen. And then eyes forward again, hands down by your side. And then once again, rock your head side to side. See, even for me, just describing this and not even doing it super attentively, I had a little bit of strain in my neck before, and honestly, it has gone away. So much of the tension in our body is just from pockets of stress that have gotten stuck. So the more ways that you can put your hands on your body, massage your jaw, move into different positions to open up the hips, the glutes, the low back, massage your belly, anything that is loving and soothing, including your breath, is going to retrain your body to understand that you're a lot safer than you've been habituated into being. So I hope that was informative and helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Reach out. I'll make another one of these videos. It'll get better. But thank you for watching, and I hope that you feel a little bit more clear on the power of the vagus nerve.